All right, guys, before we jump into today's video, I do want to talk to you guys about this incredibly awesome custom jersey that I have on right now. It came by way of a company, DIY OJ. Worked with them to create this custom Fade Me baseball jersey, guys. It's got my favorite number, 14. It also has my name and number on the back. You'll love to see that, guys. And they have jerseys on their site starting at $24.99, and they have a plethora of jerseys out there. Baseball, basketball, football. You can pick the font. You can pick the jersey type. You can pick the color scheme, the number, all that good stuff, guys. Go check it out, DIYOJ.com. Use promo code GUYBOSTON, GUYBOSTON, to save 10%. It is well worth it if you do want a custom jersey. I love this one. This is like legit stitched on material and everything like that. Go check it out. Again, that is DIYOJ.com. I'll have a link for that in the description as well. And use promo code GUYBOSTON for 10% off. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, June 17th. We got a jam-packed MLB slate to jump into today. Like we do in each and every video, I go through each and every game, give you my thoughts, give you my lean or leans on the games. But all my final plays, those will be in the pinned comments, so make sure to check that out. I update that always in by game time, always throughout the day, guys. In terms of yesterday, let's go. We had a 4-2 night from a picks perspective, and then we also landed a plus 754 parlay of the day. I asked you guys in the video yesterday, do you guys want a parlay of the day? And everyone was like, yeah. So we threw out a 4-leg. It's plus 754, and it cashes. So a great day yesterday, 5-2 when it comes to our plays. But again, I told you guys, win or loss, we're not going to count the parlay of the day towards the record and the percentages and whatnot. So I'd like to right now, but no, guys, we're not going to count that towards it long term. But we can still celebrate it the day after, right? But we had the Rangers money line and Nolan Arenado over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Our only two losses of the day. The Diamondbacks and Rays and Phillies came through from our money line picks, and then Jared Walsh, the dude stinks, under 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. That cashes as well. Let's go ahead and do that again. I told you in yesterday's video we were gonna bounce back. I didn't think it was going to be with a plus 754 parlay, but nonetheless, we shall take it. Guys, before we jump into the games, make sure you are following me over on my other social medias. MLB Picks on Instagram, it's right here right now. Same thing with TikTok's MLB Picks 2.0 because they keep banning me. MLB Guy Boston over on Twitter. They'll be flashing up right here in the video as well. So make sure to go check those out because that's where we're posting some of these plays. If you don't see it on YouTube Shorts, I am putting links to it, but you know we're posting a bunch more short form content over there. So make sure to follow me there. But let's go ahead and jump into game number 1 of this slate. We're looking at Minnesota taking on the Tigers here. We don't have an updated total nor odds for this game. Yesterday, Minnesota surprisingly gets smoked by this Detroit team, 7-1. Kind of crazy. We didn't have any action on the game, obviously, but yeah, usually when you see a good team, and I think Joe Ryan was on the hump too for the Twins too, which is kind of crazy. But De Leon is on the mound for the Twins today, 0-1 with a 3.86 ERA. Joey Wentz on the mound for the Tigers, 1-6, the 7.23 ERA. In terms of their last few starts here, Joey Wentz has been really like a roller coaster. He'll go out there and throw a 1 earned run type game, and then follow it up with like a 6 earned run type game. De Leon, we don't have much on this season, obviously, so I don't want to back him none at all, really. So I'm going to consider the over in this game, and that's really going to be my only lean here. I don't really like a side, to be completely honest. Tigers plus 164. I imagine the Twins bounce back and potentially win this game, but I don't love them with really a question mark pitcher with minus 180 in terms of money line odds. So I'm going to lean towards the over, and I'm going to leave it there for this game. Next up, we have the Cubs taking on the Orioles. Cubs get the win yesterday in that day game. Justin Steele on the mound for them today. He's 6-2 with a 2.65 ERA. Kyle Gibson on the mound for the Orioles. A good season so far. 8-3 with a 3.9 ERA. Yesterday's score was 10-3. The Cubs went out there and scored a boatload of runs. I don't necessarily think that there's going to be many runs in today's game, so my first kind of peek at this game would be leaning towards the under. I wish it was 8.5 like it was yesterday, but we see a total of 8 here, so I think that they're expecting a bounce back in terms of, back down to reality as well. So I'm leaning towards the under. Does that make it towards the final play? Not the most confident lean in terms of, where I stand here, but I do like the Orioles to come back and even this series out today for some plus money at plus 112 odds. We leaned towards the Cubs yesterday. They ended up cashing. I'm leaning towards the Orioles today, guys. I don't know if that becomes a final play either. I like to keep it transparent with you guys. This is kind of like a evenly matched series, if you ask me. So I think it's going to go back and forth. You do have the Cubs now on a 4-game win streak. Now they roasted the Pittsburgh Pirates and they roasted Baltimore. So if you're trying to ride that train, then go for it. don't blame you guys. They've also won 6 of their last 7 games. So this Cubs team may be turning it on, but the Baltimore Orioles are right there with them. Don't get fooled by a loss yesterday. They've been winning games as well lately. So I'm going to lean towards the Orioles. I also like the under. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if any of this becomes a final play. All right, Washington taking on Miami. Miami gets the 6-5 win yesterday. Washington, I leaned that way. I think it was plus 140, plus 130, something like that. Still think it's worth it. I still think that could be a lean in this game as well. So I'm going to lean towards Washington at plus 140 on the money line. The total sitting at 9.5 runs as well. I think this one goes under. I'm going to put my trust in Jake Irvin with a 5.81 ERA. Don't know if I love doing that. Braxton Garrett on the other side, I think he's got a 4.1 ERA. I think both these guys can at least try and tame these offenses for one game here. So I'm going to lean towards them, lean towards the Nationals as well as the under. I don't think that the offenses, I should say, are going to go out there and just explode. We've seen both these teams, whenever they have a big night, they kind of come back down to earth the next night. And I'm not saying a big night was yesterday, 6-5, but last time Washington scored 6 runs, or 5 runs, excuse me, they followed up with a 2-run game. Last time Miami scored 6 runs, they followed up with a 1-run game. So very inconsistent. Miami's actually done that, I think, like 2 or 3 times in a row. So very interested to see if this does happen again today. I like this being a single digits game. I'm going to lean towards the under. All right, we don't have updated totals or odds for this game as we're still waiting on who's going to be pitching for the Blue Jays. We don't even have the opening lines from yesterday at all, so we have to skip past this one. I do like the Rangers here, but guys, I'm starting to turn the Rangers right when we started to wean off the Cubs being like a go-to bet for us, right? Now I'm seeing this Rangers value, and I'm like, oh, we got to take that. I don't know what the odds are going to be for this one, but I do think that this is also a pretty evenly matched series. It was a 2-1 game yesterday. I think this one absolutely flips on its head. I'm going to look at the over as well as Texas, depending on what the odds are. So keep an eye on that. I think Texas bounces back here. All right, and though it's not pictured on the graphic, we do have money line odds as well as a total for this game here. Right now, the A's are plus 145 at home on the money line over on DraftKings. The total is sitting at 9 runs as of right now. It opened up at 9 as well. In terms of where I lean on this one, I think this is obviously a Phillies spot, minus 170. You're getting a little bit juicy. We cashed Philly yesterday. We got them for minus 140. I said to you guys, I was like, it's kind of worth the opportunity here. This A's team obviously had been red hot, but they're still the A's. They're not going to stay red hot forever, right? The Phillies are getting them at minus 140. You have to pay a little bit of juice if you want this here. I also don't hate the Phillies on the run line at minus 1.5 for even odds on DraftKings right now. So it's definitely going to be a Phillies lean for me. I think that this A's team, like I said, I loved the fact that they were going off and winning these games by a lot, but I feel like it was all a facade. I don't think they're actually that good of a team. They don't have the pitching. They really don't even have the bats. So I expect them to get back to losing baseball. I'm going to lean against them here. Take the Phillies. Christopher Sanchez on the mound for the Phillies, 6.23 ERA, and then Caprillion on the mound for the Athletics, 2-6 with a 6.89 ERA. There's 2 L's in his name for a reason, but I don't even know if there is 2 L's. There is, I think. But nonetheless, guys, I do lean towards the Phillies. In terms of the total, I like the over as well. Though I think this A's team, is returning back down to earth, they're still capable of putting up, 2 to 3 runs, meaning I think this Phillies team can go out there and get you 6-7 runs. Do I love the over? No, it's a high number if I'm relying on one team to provide most of the weight there, but I do still think that there is value in Phillies at minus 170, even though it's a heck of a lot of juice. The Braves stormed through the Rockies here through 2 games. They won game 1 8-3. Then they win yesterday 8-1. On the mound for the Braves today as their huge favorites, Bryce Elder, who's keeping opponents down, 2.69 ERA with a 4-1 record here in his last few starts. He hasn't looked all that great, but nonetheless still having a good season. His only loss came, I think, it was either the last start or the loss before that. Seabold on the mound for the Rockies. He is 1-2 with a 4.7 ERA. I think this one actually gets up and over the 9.5 runs, and I also obviously lean towards Atlanta, but I don't think it makes it towards the final play just because of the odds. Even on the run line here, minus 1.5 is going to be minus 150-ish odds, which is a lot of juice to be paying to kind of guarantee a 2-run win. So I think this one is going to be an Atlanta win. Maybe it's some sort of, if you want parlay, action and whatnot, maybe it's something you throw into a parlay, but I think we're probably sticking away from the side of this game. The total 9.5, I do think this one can get up and over. We've seen this Atlanta offense cooking. They scored 8 runs in each of these games, right? All we need is Colorado to go out there and score a couple runs. And this one actually cashes if Atlanta keeps that pace up. All right, guys, got to take a break here in the video to tell you guys about a new brand partner that we have, and it is a really cool one. It is Sleeper, guys. If you know all the DFS player prop sites that you've been using, Prize Picks, Jock Market, we talk about all of them because they all have their own each individual value, and that is just the truth. It's okay to be on all of them because they'll have different lines, different values, and different offerings too, and different promos going on. Well, I like what Sleeper does here. They have dynamic payouts, so obviously, on the Prize Picks, the Jock Markets, the No House Advantage, they all have the same, 3 to 3.2 times for a 2 for 2 hit. 3 for 3 is going to be this, blah, blah, blah. They all have the same structure payout. Well, Sleeper's a little bit different. They have dynamic payouts. Based on what you are selecting will determine how much you do end up paying out. We were on there yesterday, cashed a little bit. It is a really cool app, very, very advanced and very cool to use. If you sign up using the link in the description, I'll also throw it in the pinned comment, you guys can get $100 matched on your first deposit. So if you throw in $100, they're going to give you 100 free bucks. You'll have a new account balance of 200. Or if you want to, play a cheapskate here and you can go with a $50 deposit or a $20 deposit, they will match those deposits as well. Go check it out, guys. Free money, and it's a really, really cool app. I do highly encourage you guys to check it out. Like all the things that I post on this channel and let you guys know about the promos and the deals you can get, I'm only going to do it if I think it is a legitimate, has some legitimate value to you guys, which I do think this is. It's just another one of those player prop apps that you can capitalize on and have some fun playing on, but also has some great offerings, and something that kind of stands out is that dynamic payout. So Joe, go check out that link in the description as well as the pinned comment. 100% of your first deposit is matched. Let's get back to the games here. We're jumping back into the Pittsburgh-Milwaukee game here. Milwaukee right now, even odds at home, fairly even odds, I should say, at home over on FanDuel, -108 right now, coming off of a 5-4 win yesterday. That game looked like it was going to be a little bit more of a, I should say, blowout, I guess, but it ended up being a close game, 5-4. In terms of who's on the mound for Milwaukee today, Wade Miley, 3-2 with a 3.67 ERA, and then Keller on the mound for the Pirates. They did a little switcheroo on us yesterday. I thought Keller was pitching yesterday. I think Rich Hill ended up getting the start, but nonetheless, Keller on the mound for the Pirates, 8-2 with a 3.41 ERA. Based on what I saw yesterday, I do think that this is going to be an evenly matched series, so I'm going to lean towards the Pirates. They have the same exact odds, so this is essentially a pick 'em when it comes to who's the favorite, who's the underdog, and I'm going to trust Mitch Keller here over Wade Miley on the mound, so I'm going to lean towards the Pirates. In terms of a total 8.5 runs, yesterday seems like it was a struggle to even get to 9 runs, and you have a good pitcher on the mound in Keller, so I'm going to go towards the under in this one, 8.5. Mets taking on the Cardinals, and based on yesterday, I have a feeling this is going to be a series that kind of confuses me. I did not really see a 6-1 win coming from the Mets. They have Senga on the mound today as well, and pitching for the Cardinals is going to be Wainwright. Senga is 6-3 with a 3.34 ERA. Adam Wainwright here, 2-1 with a 5.79 ERA. I don't really know where I stand on this one. What I do like is the under. I don't think that the Mets are going to put up 6 runs, and I think that both these offenses have been kind of rickety as of late, so I'm going to lean towards the under. That's my confident lean in this game. If you ask me to pick a side, just because the Mets are so heavily favored, I do think that I'm going to lean towards the Mets because I'm going to kind of trust what Vegas knows, what the books know, that type of thing, because I'm kind of perplexed on this one. I'll be completely honest. You have 2 teams that have lost 8 of their last 10. In fact, the Mets had lost more than that prior to just getting the win yesterday, right? So a little tricky to dissect here, but I do like the under. Not that I'm backing the pitchers, to be honest there. Like, I'm not really saying these pitchers are going to go shut up the offenses. I think these offenses, are just a little too inconsistent for me to kind of back. So I'm leaning towards the under as well. All right, Kansas City taking on the Angels here. We do have updated odds, even though they're not on the screen. We took the screenshot earlier. Right now, Kansas City +160 over on FanDuel on the money line. The Angels are -165 on DraftKings, and the total sitting at 10.5 runs. I have to back the Angels yet again here. They did win yesterday, 3-0. I like the Angels. I have no play on this total, 10.5. For whatever reason, that is way up there. Yesterday was a 3-1 finish. Like I said, they only had a total of 9, so maybe it's the pitching out there. Griffin Canning going for the Angels. Mike Myers going out there for the Royals. I don't know. I'm sticking away from the total, but I do think that there's still some value. -165 on the Angels. I would pay that juice. I think this is a surefire win, excuse me. So I'm leaning towards the Angels in this game. I don't hate them on the run line. When favored, they've covered that run line in 7 of their last 10. Again, when they are favorites, they've done it in 4 of the last 5. They've done it in 2 straight. So I do think that this is a good spot to kind of get some more value. But if you want to play it safe with a money line play, I do still think -165 is serviceable when it comes to the odds. All right, Seattle taking on Chicago here. I did like, obviously, Seattle yesterday. We did not make that a final play. Did not pull the trigger on it. Wish we did because they end up winning that one 3-2. A close game, obviously, nonetheless. But on the mound today for the Mariners is going to be Logan Gilbert, 4-4 with a 4.38 ERA. And then Frozen Yogurt Gelato's on the mound for the White Sox, 5-4 with a 3.54 ERA. This is 7.5 total. I looked at this and said, okay, I'm going to jump to the under. What's the line? And then all of a sudden, we're looking at a 7.5 line. And it opened that way, too. So I'm probably going to stick away from the total. I hate to keep doing that. I feel like I've done that a couple times in this video. But I do think this is a Seattle game. Minus 150 odds. A little bit of juice. It's probably going to sting a little bit. But I do think we can still pull the trigger on that. I think they're a better team than this White Sox team. But yeah, that total, I wanted to go with the under just based on, I think these two of these pitchers are actually going to kind of perform today. But I guess, you know, if I did have a gun to my head, which I don't, I do still think that there's some value in this total being so low. So I think I'm going to kind of fade myself and lean towards the over here because that is just such a low number. Even though we saw a 3-2 game yesterday, obviously we have seen at least a couple high-scoring games from both these teams as of late. Astros taking on the Reds. This Reds team, man, this Reds team is, I was going to say inspiring. I don't know if that's the right word, but they are playing good baseball. And they've had a mix of strength of schedule. You know what I mean? I'm going to take that Kansas City sweep away from them because it's like anyone can sweep Kansas City. But, you know, winning 2 against the Dodgers, taking, who did they play after that? St. Louis, I want to say, winning that series. They're off to a good start here against Houston, winning yesterday. It was only 2-1, but nonetheless, they're winning games, both high scoring games as well as grinded out 2-1 type games. Bailick's on the mound for them today, 3-3 with a 4.01 ERA. Bailick on the mound for the Astros. Let's rewind here. Bailick on the mound for the Astros here. In his last series, we did rag on him. He goes out there and has a decent spot. The team doesn't get the win, but I think it was that was against Toronto, 6-3. 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, whatever. Team gets the win. I don't really like him. We always rag on him. I can't really back him, but I do think that this is a spot for the Astros. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I don't know squat about what this Reds team is doing because they have won, like I said, 6, right? They won 8 of their last 10. 3 of those wins are against Kansas City. I don't want to put too much weight into that, but Hunter Green's on the mound. He's actually having, I feel like his record, what's his record? His record is 1-4. He got a 4.01 ERA. I was gonna say, and this kind of lines up, I feel like he's having a way better year than his record would indicate. There's been a couple games here where he goes out there and pitches 6 innings, 0 earned runs, 1 earned run, and then all of a sudden you're looking at a team that puts up, 2 runs to support him and that type of thing. So Hunter Green, I guess, is kind of getting not his fair shot as of late. He's been pitching well, but nonetheless, I do think this is an Astros spot. Minus 125, even with Bailick on the mound, who, by the way that I introed this game, apparently he was traded to the Reds because I was all sorts of confused in my notes here. But nonetheless, guys, I do lean towards the Astros as well as the total. I'm looking at an under here. Like I said, I think that this is going to be a spot where both these pitchers, they've been up and down. I kind of rag on them. I've definitely had times where I rag on both these pitchers this season, but I think they're going to go out there and do a fine job. This is going to be a game, not exactly like yesterday, 2-1, but I could see it being like a 4-3 type of a game, which would still be an under by, a couple there. So I'm leaning towards the Astros and the under. Give the Red Sox credit here. 15-5 win yesterday. Brian Bayo on the mound for them today as they take on the Yankees. Clark Schmidt on the mound for the Yankees. 2-6 with a 4.7 ERA. Brian Bayo, talk about an up and down pitcher. He has dealt at times this season. And then all of a sudden there's been games where he goes in there and lets up a decent amount of runs. But his last few starts, I would take, especially his last 2 starts against 2 good teams. Tampa Bay and the Yankees actually, coincidentally, but obviously they just played a couple series ago. But Tampa Bay here, his last start, 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, and 5 strikeouts with a 1.17 whip. That's good. He got the loss. The team only scored 1 run in the entire game, but last time against the Yankees, 7 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 0.7 whip with 3 Ks. I think that's a good spot for him again. And you're getting, decent odds. I think that obviously if Judge was in the lineup, I think this changes a couple things, but they have a couple bats that are out of the lineup, most notably his. So I'm going to lean towards the Red Sox here, minus 130. In terms of a total 9 runs, I have to imagine things snap back to reality, right? Oh, there goes gravity. I think 15-5 was a crazy score yesterday. I have a feeling this one gets grinded out a little bit more to like a 4-2 or a 5-3 type win, and we sit comfortably on the under. And guys, I do want to show you something over on Outlier, which obviously we're always using. I cannot talk this morning, using for our picks here and really valuing them. So 2 things that I like here, both the way that we leaned as well. So this is obviously great information. 61% of the bets are on New York here in terms of the money line, but 68% of the money are on the Red Sox. So I do like to see that sort of discrepancy, meaning the public thinks that this Mets team is going to win it today, but all the sharp bettors out there actually believe in the Sox. Then over on the total as well, 51% 51% on the over. So just slightly favoring the over there, but 99% of the money. Now, that still feels kind of public to me when it's 99% of the money. So maybe we do end up fading that under, because I don't want to, I guess I don't want to align with the public all that much. Sometimes the public is right, but when you see this sort of discrepancy, that is what I like to see, because this line isn't really moving. They're letting the public come in with their bets, and then it's only going to move when that money line gets up and up and up. So guys, keep an eye on that. If you want to use Outlier, it's a really, really cool app for both the desktop as well as mobile. We can go over here and check out trending plays. So you can see here, Matt Olson has failed to exceed 1.5 total bases in 9 of his last 12 games at home, averaging 1.9 during that time. Minus 107 over on Caesars. You can look into it, dive in, see how he's done as of late. You can see how he faces off against a right-handed pitcher. So Matt Olson is where? Right here. Right-handed pitcher, 242 there. Might make you stay away if you're looking at the under, but he's hit the under in 60% of games this year. It's definitely worth checking out Outlier, guys. I have a link for that in the bio. 7-day free trial. I would highly recommend you guys check it out. I use it every single day, and I know a lot of you guys do too as well. And my DMs and stuff, we're always talking about Outlier and plays that we find in Outlier, so it is worth checking out, guys. So make sure to go check out Outlier. Link in the description as well as the pinned comment. All right, we got Tampa Bay taking on the Padres. Tampa Bay came through with a nice win for us yesterday, both with our singles plays as well as being the only money line play that was in our 4-leg parlay yesterday. They get the job done. They have Zach Eflin on the mound for them today, 8-2 with a 3.28 ERA. Blake Snell on the mound, 2-6 with a 3.78 ERA. I think it's another raised spot. You can get them at minus 110. Let's not forget that this is a team that is 51-22 on the season, right? With a bunch of good pitchers. I like them in this spot. This line is moving. It opened up at, I believe it was right around minus 107-ish, moving now in favor of the Rays there. So I do think if you want this Rays team, you might want to jump on it, depending on where all that money and bets are going to come in. We might see different odds come game time. And then in terms of the total 8.5, yesterday's game obviously finishing at just right around there, 6-2, was a an 8 finish. I do think this one actually can get up and over, and you're getting plus odds on that. So that's a nice little cash there if you hit it at plus 105 over on Caesars right now. So I'm going to lean towards the Rays as well as the over. This Giants team, they're on a roll. This Giants team has won 8 of their last 10. They won 5 straight games. Decent competition, too. They take the 7-5 win yesterday against this Dodgers team. The run line right now, we don't see this very often. The run line is actually +1, not even +1.5, which is super interesting to see when it comes to sportsbooks here. But nonetheless, guys, I do think that this is a bounce back spot for the Dodgers. Bobby Miller on the mound for them. He's got a sub-1 ERA, 3-0 on the season. I do think that, obviously the Giants have had their run. Alex Wood's on the mound. I don't really mind him, but I do think that the Dodgers are a better team. But it's kind of crazy because this Dodgers team hasn't really been playing all that great this season, right? And 2, they are absolutely just win-loss, 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 win-loss. It's like what they're doing as of late, and their strength of schedule hasn't been like that crazy either, to be completely honest, and they're still going win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. So they did lose today. I expect them to bounce back, but this is becoming a Dodgers team that's not like this sort of hook, line, sinker, take them in this type of spot. They're losing plenty of games, which is very interesting. But yeah, you're gonna get the Dodgers right now at minus 150-ish over on sportsbooks, as well as the total here at 8.5, which I like the under, because I think if the Dodgers are gonna win this game, they're gonna have to tame what's going on with San Francisco, who is scoring 4 to 5 runs like it's their day job, and then throwing in a 9 spot, an 8 spot, a 6 spot anytime they want to there in their last 10 games or so. They're putting up a decent amount of runs. Like I said, 4 to 5 minimum. They scored 11 runs against St. Louis. That's a decent offense right now. So if you are on the San Francisco side of things, they're plus 130 odds. I don't hate that. I wouldn't tell you to rethink this, but I do just think like their time is going to come, and you always want to be kind of ahead of the curve in baseball. Now I don't know if this is a team that is just going to be good for the season. I don't really see it that way, but nonetheless, guys, I do think the Dodgers kind of put a halt to this win streak for the Giants today. Now our last game of the day, we have the Guardians taking on the Diamondbacks. Yesterday, the Diamondbacks cashed for us, but I don't think it goes the same today. You have Shane Bieber on the mound for the Guardians, and you're going to get the Guardians at minus 130. So I'm going to flip from what I picked yesterday and look at the Guardians today in a bounce-back spot. I think that they win this one pretty good. If you like them on the run line, I don't hate that. They only scored 1 run yesterday. They lost 5-1. I almost think that it could be the exact same score, but different sides this game. Thomas Henry on the mound for the Diamondbacks, 3-1 with a 4.86 ERA. I like that spot for them. And like I said, upset. I think it's going to be another, one-sided affair. I think it's going to be Cleveland Guardians today, so I'm going to lean towards the under 8.5 as well. You can get it at 9 on some sports books. I don't have access to those books, but nonetheless, under is going to be my lean on both those numbers. Obviously, 9 being better, and I'm also considering Cleveland on the run line at plus 130, but I do like them for minus 130 on the money line. And that is going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy it. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I know we had a couple mess ups in there because, well, I'm a dummy. Fade me. It's okay to fade me. But nonetheless, guys, hope you guys do enjoy. We are going to be probably doing a car video tomorrow. We'll be away from home for the next couple days. We'll still try to get the videos out, obviously. That's why you got to make sure you're following us over on TikTok, on Instagram, looking at the YouTube shorts, as well as Twitter, because I'll be updating you guys where we are and with plays. If there's going to be a week where we're on vacation or something, we can only post player props or quick hitting plays. We'll be posting those on Instagram Reels and whatnot. So make sure you follow me there, guys. Would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, enough rambling from me. Catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.